Hey everyone, welcome to a new lesson. Today I will be explaining to you the guitar solo of For All We Know Is Down on My Knees. This solo is pretty similar to the one in We Are the Light, also by For All We Know. That's my solo project. It's pretty similar in the sense that it also makes use of a lot of silence, a lot of phrases, which you could see as questions and answers, and it builds to a nice climax. Let's take a look at the first phrase. You could look at a phrase in the musical sense as a sentence in language. And I think that this opening of this solo is a little bit like a question and an answer. So this would be the question. And this would be the answer. There are a couple of things going on here. I make use of vibrato, but I do it consciously. One of the things that I sometimes notice with guitar players is that they use their vibrato as some kind of a spasm or a tick or whatever, and that they always play the same kind of vibrato. So either, fast and wide or slow and narrow, or whatever the word would be. I think that it's very important to use your vibrato in a very conscious way, because vibrato is a very expressive technique for guitar players. For instance, pianists can even play vibrato, and sometimes vibrato is even the one thing that you can recognize a guitar player with. So let's take a look at this first lick, this first phrase. I bend the note, I release it, and I bend it again, and then I keep it still. And in the end, I release it and I play a pull off with a kind of heavy, not so heavy vibrato, and I play a slide downwards. And then there's silence. I really like silences in solos because, in my opinion, silence is just as important as a bunch of notes, in the sense that, both notes and silences can tell a story. And I find a story in a solo very important. I like to listen to some shredding, but if it's only a bunch of notes, like look at me, how fast I can play, it usually loses my attention pretty quickly, because to me that doesn't tell a story. That second phrase is pretty similar. So also a bend release and another bend at the first note, and then some pull-offs and a pretty heavy vibrato with a slide downwards. You could see the next phrase as a question and an answer as well. Question and an answer, with some imagination maybe. This next melody will see its return in a later part of the solo, and goes like this. So some slides and some hammer-ons and pull-offs. The next part of the solo already builds up to the climax, and I make use of some heavy vibrato on the second note. Also makes use of a grace note, and a grace note is a note that is so quick that it's almost inaudible, but it's definitely there, because if I wouldn't play it, it would sound like this. And with that grace note, and what it is actually just a very quick hammer on. And maybe the next part is also a question and an answer. I've noticed by filming and analyzing my solos that I play a sus4 arpeggio quite often. I think I've also played it in the Let Us Burn solo and maybe one other, but here it is again. So here's the D sus4 arpeggio. Apparently I'm a fan. But that part first starts with, again, 2 string bends, and the first string bend I keep still, as in there's no vibrato, and in the second one there's a pretty heavy vibrato. If I would play vibrato on both notes, it would sound like this. And if I wouldn't play any vibrato at all, no, just to be clear, it's not wrong to do it in another way as I play it. As a matter of fact, I would suggest to experiment a lot with different ways of approaching melodies and you know, solos in general. But just to show that it's you know, sometimes a small detail that makes a melody or a phrase sound completely different. Coming out of the D sus4 arpeggio, it's the next melody. And in the next part I play a lot of slides on the same string, something that I tend to do a lot as well. And remember that melody that I've played a couple of bars before, here it is again. I think a little detail like that can glue the phrases of a solo nicely together. And we're already at the last phrase of the solo. Again, some slides here and there. If I wouldn't play any slides, if I play this lick zombie-like, would sound like this. Pretty boring, I think. So with some extra juice. Speaking of zombies, I'll be playing the same solo, these same melodies, these same phrases, these same licks, but without any other techniques, just the notes. And I hope that you will be able to hear how boring it sounds. I hope that you heard how important it is to add some life and some juice and some techniques like vibrato, slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, all kinds of stuff. Because a solo doesn't always get its credibility because of the notes it contains, but also the way those notes are played. And it doesn't always have to be difficult or complicated. In my opinion, it's more important to put a lot of life in those notes. Right now I'm going to be playing this solo again and I will add some taps to it. That was it for this lesson. I hope that you learned some stuff from it. And as always, I suggest to whatever you play, even if the melody is super simple and easy, always play with some heart, with some emotion, and then those notes will really come to life. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing and liking this video, and maybe even push that bell button so you get notifications whenever I upload a new video. And for now, I want to wish you a very good day, night, evening, morning, whatevs, and hope to see you again. See you later. Take care and bye-bye. Phrase that you play, but play with some heart, play with some nice emotional